Let's wait for everyone to join in. We'll wait for a few more seconds and then we can begin. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Shruti Mehrotra, Head of Marketing at Aerogram, and it's my privilege to welcome all of you to this exciting webinar. Also, a warm welcome back to those who have attended this webinar series before. One quick announcement before we begin. You can now drop in to speak to Aerogram CTO Tuesdays 2 p.m. ET and Thursdays 1 p.m. ET to have any of your questions answered about implementing AI automations for your healthcare operations. Again, that's 2 p.m. ET on Tuesdays, which is today, and 1 p.m. ET on Thursdays. You'll find the link to the meeting on our website and in the comment section below after this event concludes. So let's begin. Currently, a typical patient journey begins long before they step into your practice. It starts online, where the patients are searching for cost transparency, reading reviews, or exploring treatment options. Your website is often their first point of contact with your business. These digital interactions are not just informational, they are pivotal moments that shape trust, influence decision making, and ultimately drive revenue. Leveraging these touch points effectively can transform website visitors into loyal patients while building a reputation that sets your practice apart. I believe that empowering patients with tools like real time cost estimates, benefit verification buttons, and transparent information isn't just about compliance. It's about creating trust and improving patient experiences. So, when you optimize your website to meet these needs, you can expand your patient funnel and unlock untapped revenue opportunities. So, to guide us through this transformative approach, I'd like to introduce my colleague and speaker for the day, Cash, CEO of Aerogram. Cash is on the forefront of implementing cutting edge AI tools in healthcare operation settings and has been instrumental in helping healthcare practices reimagine their digital strategies to boost patient acquisition and retention. Today, he'll share actionable insights on how your practice can leverage AI tools to turn website visits into meaningful connections that drive growth and trust. Cash, the floor is
Yeah,
yours.
really. Hey everyone. So again, welcome to another edition of our educational webinar series, where we bring you uh, topics that you would like to learn more about, and it's getting very interesting with each episode. So that we're also getting really great positive response, better than what we had expected. So we're gonna continue doing this, and we have some announcements as well later on for the next episodes. But today's topic is itself is very interesting. Okay, so I'm personally very excited about this topic, and in fact it kind of what makes it more even more interesting is like puts together kind of things that are from two different worlds. Like we are on the one hand we are going to talk about the website, the provider's website, which falls under digital marketing arena, but then we're also going to talk about the cost estimate, which is part of the critical part of the revenue cycle management. So these are like very different topics, but they actually are very much interconnected, and we're gonna see how it can actually make sense together and even improve the patient funnel for the providers, and the providers can leverage this on their website. Okay, and in the past episode we have gone into detail about how and what and why the cost estimator is required, how it works. So you can listen to our other previous episodes. So Shruti is gonna put some links on the page as well. But let's start with this topic. Okay. So let me go a little bit into detail. Okay, so I would like to start, very interesting analogy. That's like kind of favorite analogy, if you have heard me, which is to compare, the patient experience with the experience of consumer. And in particular, I always take an example of going to a restaurant. And if you notice, many of the restaurant actually put the menu outside, up front, and very visible, and maybe there's something going on here. Okay, and menu is just not just listing the items, but a lot of times it also contains the pricing as well, so which is very interesting if you think about it. And it's even more interesting if you compare and contrast with the experience of a patient going to a healthcare provider. And unfortunately, it's not kind of similar experience altogether. And we're gonna go into details why and what can be done with it about it. But basically, if you see the restaurant, like they have very clear pricing, but there is another interesting thing happening on the left hand side of the image. The left side image is that, if you walk to like really nice street, you're gonna see a lot of menu boards put outside of the restaurant front. Okay, and they are not thinking about, okay, how much, should we tell the price to the potential customer prospect or not. They're not thinking, whether should we be transparent or not. It's just like they just do it, very easily. And then there is, could be healthy competition, yes, but then there is also transparency. And then they probably know something. My theory is that probably they know something that other providers, or a lot of other providers kind of miss a thing, which is that, pricing is also kind of a hook to get prospects in into your funnel, so to speak. And so that kind of got me thinking, how about healthcare journey, maybe similar lessons could be applied to healthcare journey as well for a patient. And that got me thinking, okay, first of all, mm, like, healthcare delivery, although nowadays, like, there are new age providers which have virtual first point, they have telehealth consultations, and that's kind of the first touch point they have with the patients and the prospects. But there are traditional healthcare providers as well. There are medical practices as well, uh, which mostly get referrals, or they get direct patients in. Either way, website is also kind of their storefront. If I have to take this analogy, the storefront, just like restaurant have their storefront, like, they do it, so that they welcome the patient or the prospect, and then they have like information up front. They know about, probably the patient, if you think about, even if they are coming to traditional healthcare practice, the patients these days, are also consumer ultimately at the end of the day. So they have gone through the similar consumer journey with other kind of purchase and shopping. And so patients have high expectations. So probably they're going to check out your website, they're going to look at the reviews, and then probably they can get either some information even before they call for the appointment. Okay, even before they show up there. And if you are a telehealth provider, it's even more important. So you cannot just ignore, what is your online storefront, which is your website. And we're going to talk about, how it actually can be leveraged with putting out the information, such as pricing. But pricing, first of all, whether you want to do it or not, before we consider that question, the another question is like, how do you even get it? Because every patient has got different insurance plan, different, insurance type, different, and the provider may be in network, out of network service may be covered, not covered. There are different CPT codes for different fees. And then ultimately, there are benefit terms that kind of determine, how much of that fees is going to be patient responsibility, how much insurance going to pay. So first of all, this is very, very tricky, to get even the pricing. Forget about, putting up out there on the website. So it's like very specific, very personalized to each patient. And that's where things kind of break down. And this is kind of real life example how actually benefits are written. And then providers are left on their own, the staff are left their own to figure out what applies, what doesn't apply. And because it's not just you have to see whether insurance is active or not, you have to specifically figure out what are the benefits that apply at the CPT code level, and then you translate, calculate into fees, and then estimate. And those things are done manually, and they end up spending a lot of time. So that really doesn't work if you were to put up something on your storefront on a website. So, but that used to be the case. Now there are tools, especially things, tools like Aerogram with AI automation. Now it's feasible to actually get the front end pricing just like a menu, and how and now it is actually possible for providers to put kind of cost estimator right on their website, where patients can come and check their benefits and get their estimate as well. Okay, so how does it work? Well, it's as simple as putting a button on a website, and we're going to look at some of the examples where patients just come here, there, and they are already checking out your website. Mm, but you can also encourage them and bring them to your website as well. And after they come, they can simply put in their insurance details and then share their contact details. And they're going to do it because they want that instantly. They want kind of information, if they are considering to get this healthcare service at all. And when they do that, provider is going to get the kind of update, gets updated that patient has made an inquiry. Whether the patient converts or not, first of all, right now they don't have visibility, but after this they actually know who is checking the benefits, who's getting the pricing. And so providers now have an option to actually be proactive and reach out to the patient and ask them, okay, patients, like, do you need any help? Do you have any questions? Do you want to schedule appointment? We look at your insurance, has a good coverage. Do you want to expedite the appointment, or it does not cover much? Do you want to have self finance option where it's then you don't have to deal with insurance, right? So there are all kind of options available, only if you can actually give them something upfront, kind of knowledge upfront, right? And so the whole process, we actually gonna look at this time the tool. By the way, anybody is welcome to check out this tool. We're gonna share the link. But basically, as I said, it's gonna be kind of simple button on a provider's website where the patients can put in details and get the pricing. So why don't we just check out this, how it all works? Okay, so I'm gonna switch my screen and I'll show you, how it actually works. Uh, okay, all right. So we're gonna go and see, simulate the whole patient experience. Okay. So let's imagine this is like a dummy site we have put up. So no patient information, but let's say patient comes here. There is an imaginary healthcare provider called Sonoma Health. Okay, and now here patient is selecting their insurance, uh, um, and then all other fields are optional. All they have to put the member ID and their name and their date of birth, and that's it. Once they start doing getting into process, the in the back end, the process already kicked off. Okay, so they don't have to wait. But here we're gonna capture the leads, and they are more likely to provide the lead because they know that you know this is something, they're gonna get something in return. They're gonna get some information. So when they do that, it's gonna tell them, okay, their insurance is active, they are in network, the plan type is PPO, and then they will see all the services offered by the and providers, which service they want to put up here, which service they want to showcase to the patient. So They can also choose pick certain CPT codes, maybe give the range or get a particular CPT code. So they have all kind of flexibility. And for first and foremost, some providers say like, but you want patient to call, so that's not a problem. The number is written here. Patient can call them you as well. Patient can also go to your website by clicking on your logo, and then they can see all the details, everything. And on top of it, the most important thing is they actually can go inside a service, and they will see what their actual pricing is gonna be, how much insurance is gonna cover. Okay, and these are the benefits at the procedure level. And to make it easy, we have not shared a lot of details about the CPT code, but these are actually calculated on CPT code and based on provider specific fees. Okay, so this is not generic, this is personalized estimate, personalized pricing for that patient, for that provider, for that service. Okay, and they can get those things like this here. And even top of it, yeah, like this, so they can actually compare contrast, and it makes it very transparent here. And you can also offer self period as well, because sometimes um, mm, self period is easier, so it gives them choice. Okay, so now after coming here, you can add other CTAs as well. Maybe you can have book appointment button that you can link to whichever booking appointment booking platform you're using. So it can be made very seamless process. Okay, and I have seen a lot of providers actually utilizing the whole tool very well. I and not this tool, but at least the pricing, and the how you can encourage patient to actually take an action. So it's a kind of also great CTA. So I have run some good examples. That one for a client, is also have button on their website. But then I got another, I was checking another provider to be uh, with the full disclosure, this is not our client, but I really like how they put up the details about the pricing and how they are actually encouraging patient to check their pricing. So here you will see that they have this button which says verify coverage, right? So patients can, and they can also showcase, advertise, encourage the patient. So these are some of the examples, really good examples that I had to share with you. So now let's go back to our presentation. So here, so now that's about the front end experience, right? But how does it work behind the scene? We have our built our AI agent automation system that actually kicks off and does the whole process automatically end to end within seconds, right from the not just getting the benefit data, but parsing, filtering, determining network status, service coverage, the benefit terms, applying fees, and ultimately calculating estimates. Okay, so this all process can be automated within seconds, and that is done with our AI technology, with Autogram's AI agent that we have built out. And that is fine tuned for every provider, so to get that level of accuracy. And so it can handle like over 15 plus payers, can get benefit CPT level, can handle all the variations, exceptions at the provider level, can apply the fees, and ultimately get the estimate. Okay, so that's how the providers can actually roll out the price transparency immediately, offer clear, accurate cost information. But what makes it even interesting, it can capture more leads from the patient, and it has also other benefits like improving the patient collection. Okay, so when I look at it, how do we talking about the topic, how do you actually build a funnel? So when you look at any provider's website, as there's, if you imagine a funnel, there is like a patients, they are coming to the website, and then they are verifying the benefits, sharing their contact info, booking the visit, and finally attending the visit. So you can get all the visibility with this kind of tool. But let's say if you are not using this tool, what happens? You can only know the patient who are actually booking the appointment, who are actually showing up, but you don't have any visibility into who are coming to the website. How many of them are potentially customers or patients, how many could convert more patients by providing them instant information. So this is all like kind of providers who are not utilizing this, kind of missing out on this opportunity. And that's what, funnel is a one way to do is look at it, but the current process itself is like a maze. Now if you can streamline, you can have like a straightforward road where you can have very clear straight pathway for the patient in their journey, and not get bogged down with all the uncertainty and the surprise bills and the cancellation of appointments. And the really beautiful thing is about this is that this is a system that you can actually run it anytime. So the traditional way you do benefit verification, you're only doing it once. But now imagine you can optimize the whole patient tech process, and that kind of unlocks a lot of use cases and benefits for the provider. And now we have tools like analytics that can actually make it even more methodical and make data driven. So now imagine, when you can actually track where patients are coming to the website, what is the source, what is the demographic. And so if you were to do any kind of other marketing campaign, you can actually base a lot of decision based on this data that you can gather with the analytics tool on your website estimator. So ultimately, you'll have the whole visibility of the tracking throughout your funnel like this. So that's very exciting, and I have only actually touched upon the surface. There are a lot of things you can go into detail. Even you can also optimize the digital marketing and um, all the campaign to actually bring patient to the website. And to that topic, we are in fact doing a next episode on this topic in particular. If you're interested, we're gonna have invite two other experts guests who are going to talking about how to actually use this digital channels, digital marketing to acquire and engage patients. So that's going to be very exciting going forward. And again, I go back to this example. So let's take lessons from which is already working, and leverage this new technology which is now available at disposable to us. Okay, that's it for now. Yeah, Shruti, back to you.
Yes, thanks, Kashyap. We have some questions that maybe we can go over for folks who joined in
Mhm.
a little bit late. So the first question is, when tracking website visitors and providers' website, what metrics should healthcare practices focus
Yeah, that's a
on?
good question. To um, surprisingly, the metrics are well defined, maybe not necessarily in healthcare domain, but even outside of healthcare domain in general. um, so the wording may be different, the terminology might be different. Maybe if they're calling click-through rate instead of patient conversion, maybe they're calling it patient awareness, or instead of number of impressions or visitors. But whatever terms you use, basically, what you want to do, the metrics what are important is like, how is the funnel working for you, how many patients are coming to your website, then they are looking at the information, putting their contact details with tools like benefit verification or estimate, and then ultimately booking appointment, and then actually showing up for the appointment, because there is also dropout after booking appointment as well. So that is where, if you were to track this all the metrics, you can actually optimize the intake process. So if you, let's say your metric is based on patient estimate, patient responsibility, you are tracking what's the patient turnaround time, what is the average time that takes to the up to showing up to the appointment. So if you're measuring, that's just an example kind of metric, then you can actually optimize that process. If let's say your patient is responsibility is low, then you can actually expedite that process. So those are the metrics you can actually define yourself in order to achieve the outcome that is important to you. Because some providers I see what is I ask them what is most important to you. They just want to move fast in the process. They want to take the patient in as fast as they can. So that's not a problem. Define that metric, what's going to be from average time from getting the patient inquiry to this appointment scheduling. What is the time between this two event, and that way you can optimize for that metric.
Makes a lot of sense. The next question is, what are some other best practices for maintaining compliance with price transparency?
um Compliance as in?
Compliance with the executive
Oh
order
yes,
on
yes.
price
That is
transparency by the
definitely is
government.
very much important these days. Now we have NSA called No Surprises Act. So that in fact that came in place like 2022, but because providers simply lacked the tools to provide the good faith estimate, it was not enforced properly. But now there is political pressure to actually enforce it. So sooner or later, even right now, a lot of providers are getting penalized to not by for not sharing the good faith estimate. So that's going to matter ultimately. And the good thing is that with a price transparent tool like we have, you can actually fulfill that compliance to share the good faith estimate. So that makes it very easy for you.
How can healthcare providers leverage patient data to create more personalized experiences using the tool that you described?
So again, I have to be careful because there is rules regarding HIPAA compliance that you have to follow in order to not misuse it. But simple things like told you, when you are getting patient inquiry and you are getting like a patient estimate, then that is very specific to a patient, right? So then you can use the data to actually optimize the patient intake and scheduling process. And I already given you example how you could do that by managing how you reach out to the patient, offer them options that is based on their particular personal data about based on the insurance plan, about the patient responsibility, and so that you can actually guide them. It's part of care navigation, but this is the very first starting point in their care journey, so that becomes even more important.
Thank you so much for your time, Cash, and sharing such valuable insights with us today. So I would like to wrap up, and before I leave, I want to leave you with some steps that you can take to make sure that your practice thrives. So one of the things you can do is to check out our interactive website estimator demo that I'll shortly share in the comments and then you can see how you can transform your online presence and patient engagement within just a week. You can also subscribe to our LinkedIn newsletter for the latest updates on patient engagement strategies, compliance insights, and innovative tools that can help your practice. Thank you again for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you all again very soon on the 25th of April, um, 12 p.m. ET, yes, with Dr. Avinesh from Sleep, Lane Rizardini from Sleep Apnea Leads, and Kashyap Purani from Aragram. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
everyone. Thanks, Shruti. Bye.